Hello everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the Ratliff, well, I hesitate to say mandolins production diary this week, because most of the work this week is going to be spent on the mando-cellos, which, if you've been following the series, you know that they run into several bottlenecks that's prevented their progress across the course of these past few episodes. And most of those bottlenecks have been eliminated within the last week or so. And so let me go over those and show you where we're at in the progress on these two mando-cellos. This one here, of course, was held up mainly because of the binding job. It's a 2-ply double-step binding routine here, and there's 7 pieces of binding, and it has to be double done to get the inner black, white, black, and so therefore it's 14 pieces of binding just on the back alone. If you glue 1 piece a day and come back and glue another piece tomorrow, and so on and so forth, then you got 14 days worth of gluing. And we can press that up a little bit by gluing a little bit in the morning and a little bit in the evening, but nevertheless it's still quite a job just to get all the binding glued on after you've got the channels cut. So that one's done and can move on. It's basically ready for the fretboard and the fretboard extender, which, by the way, yesterday I spent a good portion of the day taking some raw ebony stock, sanding it to thickness and cleaning it up, edging it and all, and hand cutting each and every fret for not only this mando-cello, but this one as well, so that when we get that far on this one, the fretboard will already be ready. Now, speaking of this one has been held up quite a bit for one reason and one reason only that has been resolved now, because we are going to put a pickup inside this thing. The pickup actually has an external jack that fits in through the tailpiece hole, and we had not determined what kind of tailpiece we wanted. So actually the customer himself for this particular instrument found a Northfield Nugget octave mandolin tailpiece that will fit very nicely and work with the string gauges and everything that will go on this particular instrument. It's an 8-string tailpiece, and so we're going to use this thing, and now we have a place where we know exactly where this hole is, because let me show you here. This pickup, which by the way is a K&K internal twin specifically made for mando-cellos, has this input jack that's going to come out and be accessible through the end pin hole. Now that we have this tailpiece, we can install the pickup. We can set the exact holes for the tailpiece. Everything is good. And then we can proceed with putting the back on. So that's going to take up the rest of the week, I am sure. Between this thing and this thing, I doubt I'll get much more done this week. So I'll check back in towards the end of the week or so and let you know just how we do with these two instruments this week. I carried the camera around with me this week and took footage of all these little jobs that I did on these mando-cellos. I'll run that footage now. I've got a few comments and I'll share them with you as the footage is running. Number one, of course, is that we're working on the fretboard for the K4 mando-cello, and we're putting, again, 3-ply binding on that ebony. It goes on in layers, very much like on the body. First the little black, white, black strip, and then the black outside. And then the next thing to do is, of course, do the fretboard extender. There you see me sawing it out, test fitting it. And a test fit with the fretboard right there as well. As far as the K5, the guitar-shaped mando-cello, we fit in the tailpiece, of course, and then the K&K internal twin pickup. Everything looks like it fits right there, so now it's time to do the actual getting ready and installation. Once the M-pin jack is installed, it is time to install the pickups themselves. They're actually attached to the underside of the top with some double stick tape. There we're cutting the tape to shape. And there we go. The pickup is installed. That little decorative cover plate on the jack. And now I keep an amp here in the shop just to check and make sure these pickups are indeed working. As you can hear, you plug everything up and rub across the top. The sound comes out of the amp. We're in good shape. A little bit of final trimming on the back before we glue it on. It is fit and ready to go, and there it is in the gluing jig. After it comes out of the gluing jig, we have an entire instrument now. And we're going to take it into the front room, the sanding room, and trim the excess off of the overhang. That little part right there that overhangs all around the thing. And then we have to trim the outside of the top and kind of shape that last little bit right there at the edge to make ourselves happy. And so it is now Saturday morning, a gray, overcast, wonderfully rainy day here in Upper East Tennessee at the end of October at the Ratliff Mandolins workshop. Let me give you a quick review of everything that we've done this week. Of course, you just got to see in the K5 mando-cello get its back glued on, and the fretboard is more or less ready to be glued on. This thing here has the fretboard ready to glue on, and we're doing a little pre-finish on the underside of the fretboard extender. And as far as the rest of the stuff in the batch goes, mandolin number 6 is still here. We're waiting on the business end of the deal to be taken care of before we can put the strings and everything on it and get it to its customer. And the 3 or 4 remaining mandolins in the batch, I didn't take any footage of it, but I did indeed get frets on 2 of those this week. And so that's where we're at. We do this, of course, each and every week. I put up a video, and certainly hope that you come back every week to share some of your time with me as we post the happenings of everything here at Ratliff Mandolins each and every week on the Ratliff Mandolins Weekly Production Diary. We'll look for you next week.